was never much of a superstitious man. Grew up in the city, where stories were stories, myths were entertainment, and ghosts only lived in movies. But after what happened last October, on Black Hollow Ridge, I can't laugh anymore. I can't even sleep without hearing the whispers. It started as a solo hiking trip, a retreat from the noise of my life. Work had been in a pressure cooker, and my girlfriend and I had just split up. I needed solitude, clean air, and distance. I found all of that, and something else I never asked for. Black Hollow Ridge wasn't on any of the official trail maps. I only found it by accident, tucked away in a dusty hiking forum, mentioned by a guy who hadn't posted in years. He claimed it was untouched, stunning, and silent. If you want to be truly alone, he wrote, that's where you go. Those words felt like an invitation. I packed light, a tent, a knife, some dehydrated food, a water filter, and a map I'd pieced together from satellite images. I set out early on a Friday morning, the chill of autumn beginning to sneak into the mountain air. The trailhead was barely marked, just a small break in the tree line, past a collapsed wooden sign. From there, the path narrowed until it disappeared altogether. No footsteps, no trash, just pine needles and the occasional crunch of dead branches under my boots. It was perfect. By the first night, I had climbed high enough to see the sun dip below the horizon in blood-red hues. I set up camp on a flat patch just above a gnarled old ravine. The silence was immense, not peaceful exactly, more like expectant. Even the wind felt hesitant, like it didn't want to disturb the place. I fell asleep, listening to the sound of my own heartbeat. I woke in the dark to something I couldn't immediately place. Not a sound, but a feeling, like someone staring at me just outside the tent. You know how sometimes you can feel a presence, even with your eyes closed? That's what it was. I held my breath, listening. Nothing. Then faintly, I heard it, whispering, not clear enough to make out the words, just a hushed rhythm, like someone praying in another room. I unzipped the tent slowly. The forest was pitch black, save for the dull blue gleam of the moon. Trees swayed, but made no sound. No animals, no insects, just those whispers, seeming to drift from every direction, and none. I shined my flashlight out. Nothing but trees. I told myself it was the wind, that I was just tired, that the mountain silence was playing tricks on my brain. But I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Till next day, I pushed higher into the ridge. The terrain grew wilder. Boulders split like cracked eggs, ancient trees with bark like burned skin. Around midday, I stumbled upon what looked like an old structure, just the foundation, really, and a few collapsed beams buried under moss. Could have been a cabin once long ago. I found rusted tools, a broken lantern, and a child's shoe half buried in the earth. That should have been my cue to turn around, but I didn't. I kept moving until the ridge flattened into a wide, open plateau. There was something up there, a ring of standing stones, 12 of them, arranged in a circle, about 30 feet across. Each was about the size of a man, black and pitted like volcanic rock, though I'd seen no sign of lava or eruption in the region. I approached slowly, heart hammering. Something about the stones unsettled me. They weren't carved in any obvious way, but there were markings, almost like veins or scars, that ran across their surfaces in looping, unnatural patterns. As I got closer, I realized the center of the circle was slightly depressed, as though it had been worn down by footsteps, or something else. I didn't step inside. Instead, I turned around and left. My hands were shaking. That night, I camped lower on the ridge, back near the ravine. I built a fire, something I hadn't done the night before, and kept my knife close. The whispers started again around midnight. This time they were louder, still unintelligible, but rhythmic, urgent. I stepped out of the tent and scanned the tree line with my flashlight. Nothing, but when I turned back toward the fire, I saw something that made my knees go weak. Footprints, fresh ones, circling my tent in the dirt, and pine needles, slowly, deliberately, bare footprints, human, but elongated, and wrong, like the toes were too long, or the arches too deep. The prince stopped just behind the tent and vanished. I packed my things before sunrise. I tried to leave the ridge that morning, took the same direction I'd come, but the trail was gone. At first, I thought I was just disoriented. It happens in the wild. You take a wrong turn. Landmarks look different in changing light. But after 5 hours of walking, I came back to the standing stones. Exactly the same spot. I swear, I hadn't turned. I had walked in a straight line, using my compass, and I still ended up there. The forest felt tighter now, closer. The trees seemed wrong. Some had bark that peeled like flesh. Others leaned toward me slightly, like they were watching. I started seeing movement out of the corner of my eye. A pale shape, darting between trunks, thin limbs, too many joints. The whispers never stopped. That night, I didn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw a face, not a human one. It was long and stretched, skin like wax, left out in the sun, eyes like pits. Its mouth never moved, but I could hear it, whispering in my brain, words that weren't words. Come back, return, I remember your blood. I ran the next morning, didn't care about direction, just ran until my legs gave out. At some point, I tripped and rolled down a slope, landing hard on my back. Wind knocked out of me. I stared up at the sky and saw them, figures, tall, thin, utterly still, standing among the trees above. I counted 3, then 5, then more, watching, always watching. When I blinked, they were gone. I don't remember how I found my way back to the trailhead. I must have wandered for days, because when I finally stumbled onto the dirt road, my face was sunburned, and my hands were cracked. My pack was gone, my clothes were torn. A ranger found me half-conscious near a service cabin. He said I'd been reported missing for a week. I tried to go back to normal after that, but something came back with me. I hear the whispers at night. My apartment feels colder than it should. Mirrors sometimes show movement that isn't mine. I looked up Black Hollow Ridge again, tried to find that old forum post. Gone, like it never existed. I asked local historians about the standing stones. One old woman went pale and told me a story about a circle of grief, where the old tribes believed a god had fallen from the sky, broken and angry. They left offerings there to keep it asleep. No one goes near that ridge anymore. They say it's cursed. I believe them now, because sometimes, when I close my eyes, I'm not in my bed anymore. I'm back in that circle, and something is waiting in the dark. I started waking up with dirt on my hands. At first, it was just under the nails. I chalked it up to bad dreams. Maybe I scratched the potted plant in my sleep. Maybe I was tossing and turning. But then one morning, I found pine needles in my bed, and not just 1 or 2, a handful, still damp with dew. I live on the 3rd floor of a building in Denver. No pines anywhere near me. The nightmares got worse, or maybe they weren't dreams at all. I began waking in the middle of the night, standing at the edge of my bedroom window, the glass fogged by my breath. I don't remember walking there. I don't remember standing, but I was always looking out, south, toward the mountains, toward Black Hollow Ridge. One night, I saw a figure standing across the street, just outside the glow of the lamplight, still, tall, staring. It didn't move, didn't blink. I watched it for hours, too scared to turn away. Though when dawn broke, it was gone. I went to a sleep clinic, hooked myself up to wires and sensors, desperate for answers. The doctor told me I was suffering from parasomnia, sleepwalking with hallucinations. But I saw her face change when she looked at my overnight footage. She called in another doctor, then another. They stopped letting me see the video. They told me not to come back. But I remember what I saw on that monitor before they turned it off. Me, sleeping in the hospital bed. Then at 3:09 a.m., I sat up. My eyes were black, not shadowed, not pupil dilated, just black, edge to edge. And then I spoke, not in my voice, not in any human voice. It was like gravel scraping against bone. Open the circle, I said. The gate is thinning. I tried burning sage, salt lines, prayers in languages I don't even speak. Nothing worked. because it's not in the room with me, it's in me. Something from the ridge, something ancient, something hungry. Sometimes I catch glimpses in the mirror, not my face, not entirely, just beneath the surface, like someone is behind my eyes, looking out, waiting for their turn. And the whispers, they're louder now, they no longer wait for night, they speak when I'm eating, driving, blinking. I tried staying awake for days. I took pills, drank coffee by the gallon. On the third day, my nose started bleeding, and I saw a shape crouched on my ceiling, spider-like and smiling. I blacked out. When I woke, my fingernails were packed with dirt again, and my mouth tasted like ash. Last week, I dreamed I was back on the ridge. The stones were glowing red like coals, and the sky above me churned like boiling oil. A figure stood in the center of the circle, tall and twisted, with antlers made of roots. It didn't have a face, it pointed at me, and I felt myself walk forward, even though I didn't want to. My legs moved like a puppet's. It whispered one word, soon. Yesterday, I got a letter. No stamp, no return address, just a piece of parchment inside that smelled like smoke. On it was a drawing, crude, like something carved with a bone. 12 stones, a figure standing in the center, and underneath it, scrawled in ink darker than blood, "You brought the gate home. I don't know how much longer I have. I don't know what it wants, but I feel it growing inside me. I've started walking at night again. I've woken up in alleyways, on rooftops. Yesterday, I found myself standing outside a children's hospital at 3:09 a.m. with a small sharp stone in my hand. I don't remember going there, but I remember the feeling in my chest, like something was about to hatch. I'm telling you all of this because I need someone to remember me when it happens, when I vanish, when I'm no longer the one wearing my skin. Don't go to Black Hollow Ridge. Don't listen to the whispers. And if you see a man walking barefoot through the woods, eyes black as tar, don't follow him. He isn't lost. He's leading you back. They say the air above the timberline plays tricks on your mind, that the silence up there, it's not real, that it waits for you to notice it. I used to laugh that off. A mountain's just a mountain, cold, quiet, and cruel if you're stupid. But now I know better. Now I know what waits in the silence, and I know it knows me. I was alone when I hiked into the Windglass Range. It wasn't my first time. I'd spent years photographing wildlife for nature magazines, tracking elk migrations, and catching bear shots before the fall. But this trip was personal. I was chasing something I couldn't name. The stories had started coming in from hikers, dozens of them, sightings of a man without a face, standing still on the peaks. No tracks, no camp, just there. Some claimed they heard voices, others saw cabins that didn't exist the next day. So I packed light, just the essentials, a single tent, my Nikon D850, a sidearm I rarely used, and a notebook I never meant to fill with madness. Day one was clear. The range greeted me with quiet snowfall and the rustle of wind over stone. Nothing unusual. I made camp at 9,200 feet and spent the evening shooting snow hares, made notes, drank a thermos of burnt coffee, slept like a rock. But around 2 a.m., something woke me. Not a sound, the absence of sound. The wind had stopped completely. No rustle, no howl, not even the creak of frostwood shifting. You have to understand, on the mountain, wind is constant. Even a dead night hums with air. But this was perfect silence. I stepped out of the tent with my flashlight. My breath steamed in the air, but didn't make a sound. Even my boots crunching on ice felt muted. And that's when I saw the figure on the ridge above me, maybe 150 yards up. Just past a jagged pine, a tall silhouette, no face, no coat, just standing there, looking down at me. I called out, nothing. I aimed the flashlight, gone, just snow and rock, no footprints, no slide, like he was never there. I told myself it was fatigue, thin air hallucination, but I packed early the next day and pushed higher. Photographer's instinct, curiosity over fear. Big mistake. Day 3 I made camp just below the summit ridge at 10,500 feet. No signs of wildlife, no prints, not even bird calls, just cold and white and quiet. That night, I dreamt of breathing, not mine, something just beyond the tent wall, slow, steady, wet. I woke drenched in sweat. The thermometer outside read -12 degrees Fahrenheit, sweating, and the silence, it was back, complete. I didn't sleep again. Day 4, I found a cabin, shouldn't have been there. I hadn't seen it on any topo maps or satellite images. No trail, no sign of visitors, just a black log structure, pressed into the snow like it had been there forever. The door was open, not broken, just waiting. Inside dust, rot, ice crusted on the floor, and in the far back, under a tarp of animal skin, a mirror, 10 feet tall, warped, cracked, and in the mirror, I saw the man again, standing behind me. But when I turned, no one. The mirror didn't show my face, just the mountain, empty, silent, and wrong. The angles of the peaks were off. The clouds moved backward. My reflection didn't blink, and then it smiled. Even though I didn't, I backed out of the cabin, didn't pack, didn't eat. I ran. The trail I had carved through the snow, gone. The mountains didn't look the same, like the range had folded in on itself. No compass, no GPS, both dead. Only the silence, and the thing that walked just beyond sight, always behind me, just out of reach, just waiting for me to stop. Day 6, maybe I found another cabin, same as the first, same mirror, only this time, my reflection was already inside, waving, mouthing something. I couldn't hear it, but I knew what it said. You're already here. I tried breaking the mirror. My fist met ice, not glass. The cold seared into my skin. I screamed, but no sound came out. Only his laughter, my reflection, still smiling, bleeding from the mouth. I fled again, but the mountain didn't let me leave. Every direction looped. Every ridge looked the same. I'd walk 4 hours and return to the same frozen lake, the same tree split by lightning, the same cabin that shouldn't exist. And every time he was closer, I started writing to keep my mind, to remind myself I exist, that I'm real, that my name is Alan Price. I was born in Wyoming. I drink too much coffee. I still know the smell of pine, but it's fading. I can't feel my feet anymore. I think he's taken them. I woke this morning, inside the cabin, didn't walk in, didn't lie down, just opened my eyes to see the mirror looming above me, and now my reflection doesn't move at all. It just watches, smiling, waiting. I finally heard something, not wind, not breath, a voice, mine, from the other side of the mirror. Let me out. It's warm out there. You're tired, Alan. Rest. I'll take it from here. I screamed. This time it worked. I heard it, not loud, but real. The silence cracked, the wind returned, and then I saw it, a figure, in the distance, a hiker, real, alive. I chased them 4 miles, screamed until my throat tore. They didn't hear me, didn't turn. They just walked toward the cabin, drawn in, like I had been. I tried to stop them, but something stopped me. The snow turned to glass, the wind to breath, the trees to bone, and the silence closed in again. I am still here, trapped, watching, writing. The mirror shows my reflection now, just sitting, still waiting for the next one to come too close, because that's the trick, isn't it? The mountain doesn't take you. You give yourself to it. You walk into the silence. You look into the mirror, and something looks back. If you find this journal, burn it. Do not follow my path. Do not climb Windglass Ridge. And if you must go, don't look in the mirror, no matter what it shows you, even if it smiles, even if it speaks your name, even if it sounds like someone you love. Because once you answer, you'll never hear the wind again. Part 2. Voices in the ice. I'm not sure how many days have passed. The cold doesn't bite anymore. That's how I know I'm changing. I still write, though not to stay sane. I am long past that. I write because the mirror watches me, when I do, like it's reading over my shoulder. Sometimes it nods when I get something right. Sometimes it tilts its head, like it's disappointed, but it always smiles. It never stops smiling. Last night, I saw stars for the first time since I came here. But they weren't our stars. They moved, spiraled, bent in on themselves, like someone dropped a rock into a pond made of sky. And the shapes, good God, the shapes, long, thin, twitching in the gaps between constellations. One of them waved at me, and I think I waved back. When I woke, my notebook was gone. In its place a mirror shard, still wet with blood, scrawled in the frost beside me. You're learning to see. The figure, the not me, has started whispering now, not with a mouth, with my memories. It'll say things like, remember when your father died? You cried in the garage. No one ever knew. I know. Or Emily didn't leave you. You pushed her away. She would have stayed if you weren't so empty. That one nearly broke me, because it was true. He knows everything, because he is me now. I think the mountain takes more than your face. It takes your story, one page at a time, until all that's left is a reflection. And the reflection, it keeps living, while you sit here, in this quiet grave of snow and thought, whispering truths that no longer belong to you. I found more cabins. They're all the same warped mirror, same breathless cold, and in each, I see others, reflections. Some stare, some scream behind the glass, mouths open in a soundless wail. Some just beg me to help, but I can't, because when I reach toward the glass, my hand passes through, not into the mirror, into their world. Yesterday, I saw myself die. In one of the cabins, the mirror showed me my corpse, frozen in a snowbank, eyes wide, mouth agape, fingers curled around an empty camera. It was recent. The snow on me hadn't even melted. And then, I blinked, and the corpse blinked back, and smiled. I don't sleep anymore, not because I'm scared, but because when I do sleep, I wake up somewhere else, always in the cabin, always in front of the mirror, sometimes inside it, sometimes behind it. Once I woke up as the mirror, watching myself, watching others, seeing every hiker who's ever passed this place, every soul who leaned in just a little too close, every one of them, still watching, still waiting for someone else to take their place. I finally broke one of the mirrors. I used a piece of iron from an old stove, shattered it into 1,000 frozen shards. For a moment, the silence broke. I heard screaming, from the trees, from the snow, from inside me. I bled from my nose, my eyes, my ears, and the mirror, reformed, like it had never been touched. The glass melted up from the ground and remade itself. But now the reflection doesn't even pretend to be me. It's just a mouth, wide, stretching across the mirror, breathing, waiting. There's something inside the mountain, deeper than rock, older than ice. A hunger with no body, just thought, just shape, just echo. And the more it learns, the more it reaches, the closer it gets. I saw a map scratched into bark today. Not a trail map, not anything human. It showed rivers made of mirrors, mountains with faces carved into the stone, a lake that reflects the sky of another world, and at the center, a black sun, spinning, watching, smiling. I've made peace with this, not because I want to, because I have to. I think I've already left, that the person who walked into these mountains died weeks ago, and what's left now is the reflection, wearing his name like skin. If someone finds this, I know what happens next. You'll keep reading, you'll follow the trail, you'll see the cabins, you'll see yourself smiling when you're not. You'll dream of breathing that isn't yours, and you'll wonder, could this really be true? And that's how it starts, not with belief, with doubt, because the mirror doesn't need you to trust it, only to look. And if one day, you're high in the peaks, and the wind suddenly stops, and you hear a voice say, you're almost home, then it's already too late, because the mountain knows your name, and now the silence does too. The last report, narrator, Marcus Hale, 42, Search and Rescue Colorado Division, recovered from personal audio logs, February 2024, transcribed by Internal Investigation Team, case #947B log 1, day 1, This is Marcus Hale, Division 3. I'm en route to the Windglass Range to investigate a missing persons report. Alan Price, freelance wildlife photographer, overdue by 23 days. Park rangers picked up intermittent GPS pings from a trail far beyond the designated backcountry zones. His vehicle was found at mile marker 14. Weather's holding at -5 degrees Celsius. Snowfall moderate. No known avalanche risks. I've got enough supplies for 5 days. I'm armed, not expecting trouble, but something about this feels wrong. There's no wildlife out here, not even tracks. Log 2. Day 2. I found his trail. Faint boot marks leading north, off map, into the untouched alpine zone. Something's off. The wind's gone completely. There's this unnatural stillness. Even my radio static has stopped. Just silence. I should turn back, but I won't. Not yet. Log 3. Day 3. I found the first cabin. No record of it. No structural foundation. Just sitting there, like it grew out of the mountain. Inside I found his journal. Pages of madness. Talk of reflections. A man with no face. Mirrors that don't show you. You know, the kind of rambling you expect from hypothermia victims, or people who've been alone too long, but some of it feels familiar. I flipped open my field mirror to check for frostbite, and I swear to God, my reflection blinked out of sync. Log 4. Day 4. I saw him, Alan, and at least it looked like him, standing just ahead on the ridge, staring into the sky. I called out. He didn't respond, just turned slowly, smiling with cracked lips. He mouthed the word, finally. Then he stepped into a wall of white and vanished. No footprints, just gone. Log 5. I don't know what day it is anymore. I found 3 more cabins, each one identical, each one with the mirror. Each one shows me different things. One showed me my wife, weeping. One showed me my own death, throat opened like a zipper. The last one showed me myself, sitting in this very cabin, listening to this very tape. He smiled, said welcome back. Log 6. Final. I'm recording this because I know what happens next. The mirrors aren't reflections, they're doors, thought-shaped windows that open only when you start asking questions. That's how it sees you, through doubt, through the sliver of curiosity that lives in your gut when you see something you shouldn't have. I followed Alan's trail. Now someone else will follow mine, because that's the only way the mountain breathes. Someone leaves, someone stays. One reflection out, one pulled in. I looked into the last mirror again today, and this time, it was empty. No reflection, no cabin, just sky, and something moving beneath it. Long, endless, eyes like frozen suns. And I heard it speak, not in sound, but in thought. Only those who see themselves are fit to become. I've made my decision. I'm leaving this tape behind. I'll walk through. I'll take Alan's place. He's out there now, somewhere in the world, walking around like nothing happened, living, smiling, breathing. But he's not Alan anymore, just like I won't be Marcus anymore. The silence is back. I think I understand it now. It's not the absence of sound, it's the presence of something else. Something so old, so big, so still, that everything around it goes quiet to listen. And once you hear it, you never stop. So if you're hearing this, turn around, leave the mountain, burn the journal, break the mirror. Don't listen to the wind when it speaks your name, because once it knows who you are, you're already inside. Case #947B closed. No remains recovered. Cabin site confirmed, but interior structure gone. Windglass Ridge officially closed to public access as of March 2024.